Greetings once again, my friends. You're back in the living room. This is the Living Room Guitarist. My name's Dan. I'm your host. Hopefully you know that by now. We've been together for a little bit. I'd like to welcome you to submit your stuff here. You know what we're about. We're about playing this instrument to the best of our ability. We're usually amateur players. We're not pros. We don't have aspirations to be pros or studio musicians or getting gigs. Maybe you do, some of you, but we all have our living room material. And this is really what it's about, just the joy of playing the instrument, improving, sharing our stuff back and forth, helping each other become better players, develop our material, all our kind of unfinished musical business that lives in our heads, and we just need some ideas. And so we collaborate here in the living room. And we've got an offering today. It's kind of something brand new, so I'd like to submit that for you. We've had some great guests recently, so I appreciate them coming in and all the feedback we've gotten. Love to feature you on the show. Absolutely would love it, because that's the show. It's not about me, it's about you. It's about all of us who love to play guitar, hanging out in our living rooms, maybe our bedrooms, our man cave, or wherever, and we just play the guitar. We like it. Today is not really a special guest, but I'm going to talk about something. I got an email recently from a gentleman named Lawrence, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. I printed it out. Please do not place anything on the piano. Excuse me. So actually, Lawrence said some nice things, but he called me out on something, and I think he said some very important things. So I want to read his email verbatim, because it really would speak to a lot of us, I think. So I appreciate his comments, but he says, "Dear Mr. Dan," it's so formal, Mr. Dan, I love that. He says, "I'm a loyal subscriber and appreciate your efforts. I joined a band for a while after high school, but I knew my playing was not going to pay the bills. So I too am a living room guitarist for many years now. Most guitar player channels on social media are either guitar lessons or people just showing off how good they are. I like that your show is real. Sometimes it's hard to play in front of people, but you're not afraid to make mistakes and miss a note." And you all know that. And I like that you talk about real life stuff that has inspired your song ideas. You speak for a lot of us. Even though we're not professional players, we can be thoughtful musicians too. Very true, Lawrence. So then he goes on to say, "I have to take issue with you, though, on your use of the word hobby when you talk about guitar playing non-professionally. To me, playing guitar is not a mere hobby. It is a passion, something I need to do and have to do to stay psychologically well and balanced. Like you said on the show, it's stress relief and good for the soul. Playing guitar is not merely a recreational activity for me that I could replace with something else. It's more like my refuge. I'm sure many other living room players feel the same way. Could you find another word besides hobby when you talk about playing this incredible life-saving instrument? Thanks for doing your show. Keep it up, Lawrence." I read that because, Lawrence, you are spot on, my man. That's great prose right there. You said some very true things. So I'll try to do better, not say the word hobby. I just couldn't think of a better word. But we do it because, we play this instrument because we love to play, whether we're pros or want to be pros or not. And I'm guessing most of us not. We play for the joy of playing and creating and inspiration and just expressing ourselves. So please subscribe to the show. Lawrence, get in here and let's feature you as a guest. I would love to hear your living room material and what you play, and let's collaborate and work together, all of us. What I'm offering today is something I've only been messing with for a couple of weeks now. It's got sort of if I had to put a name to it, sort of a 70-ish Neil Young kind of vibe. Maybe you'll see. It's just a simple chord progression that moves around a little bit, just in first and second position. But I want to submit it to you because it's just raw material that might become something, but it's got some nice little elements to it as basic progressions go. So I'm going to go through it once, and you can decide, how different to arrange it or what I could do with it, where it might go. So it starts probably starts with a chorus if anything else, but it's just going to start on this E chord and move around. So hopefully, again, I won't screw it up too much, but it's like this. Here, screwed it up already. All right, let's try it again. Take two. again. So yeah, quick and dirty, basically. So I'll talk through it. I think it just, if I play it right, or if you play it right or differently, or have your own creative spark and want to take this in a new direction. But I invite you to kind of mess around with it and see what's possible. That's really what living room playing is all about. Just discovering new things on the fretboard and how to maybe voice things or shape things different ways. So I started. And was I right to say if I play it a little slower, perhaps, right? It's got that sort of a 70-ish Neil Young kind of flavor to it. But I just start with an E, just an open E chord, and I'll go very slow, but it's basically E, D, C, E minor, then G, D, C. All right, so it's here. I'll play it really slow to go through it, but. And then G, D, C. Just quick bounce back on that D before I go to the G, or back to the E. Actually, let's do it twice. E, and then this voicing of a D here, right? Many ways to voice a D chord, but it's just second fret, third string up, third fret, second string up, fourth fret, fourth string up. And if you want to just pluck that A, yeah, that's fine. But it's E, D, C, E minor, and then G, D, C, and then quick bounce on the D, and then G, D, C. All right, so at speed, it's second time. Into a G, that's something that might be a verse or something where someone's singing, but so it's like a full G, right? And really, you can articulate this any way you'd like, in terms of any strumming pattern, or if you want to pick it or finger pick it, and leave that up to your creativity. I'm just strumming a G, and then I just come into an E minor here with these first two fingers, but I hit especially at the bottom, so it's sort of an E minor that's sort of been augmented. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, but we won't get lost in the weeds here. But so we go from a G to this E minor here, but I'm going to leave those two strings at the bottom so I don't change from the G chord, but I don't really hit that bottom note, just hit this second string up. That as many times as you think it makes sense to do that, based on what a verse might sound like there. And I come to a C, and I'm really just going to hit that once or twice, but I'm going to slide that whole thing up, just a regular C chord shape, just slide it up 2 frets. It's sort of a D, almost like a D diminished chord or something like that, but it's just a C up 2 frets. So, and then I come into kind of a different voicing of a G chord. So if you think 3rd fret first string, 5th fret second string, and then the 4th fret 4th string down, and you get this slightly different voicing of a G chord. I wonder if it's like a G diminished, perhaps. I don't know. We can always look it up, but it's this sort of a G. And then I back that up 2 frets to an F. Okay, so just like that. Then I come into a different voicing of a G, or excuse me, a C. It's almost like maybe a C minor. So I come back to that 3rd fret. Again, 3rd fret, 2nd string down, 5th fret, 3rd string down, but then back on that 3rd fret, 2nd string up. So it's all right. So from that G, that different voicing of a G, it's and just back to a standard C. All right, so let's try that one more time from this wacky G chord here. And then from here you've got choices. I took it back to an E minor, and then to a D, and then back to that opening, right? So again, it could be the beginning of something. This is a little tune, interesting little progression there, but I wrote it down again. E, D, C, E minor, that's the opening, but it's this voicing of a D here. So E, D, C, E minor, and then G, D, C, and then a quick bounce on the D, and then back to it again. Then you come back to the other progression, which is the G, and this sort of different voicing of an E minor. All right, and then the C, and then that interesting voices of a D minor or D diminished maybe, I don't know what to call it. And then that wacky G, for lack of a better term, and to the F. And then this voicing of a C minor maybe, standard C, E minor, D, and then back to it. So see what you think, and submit your ideas back to us, or your own living room material. We'd love to feature you on the show. That's what it's all about, is sharing our living room material for joy of playing this instrument. Not trying to impress anybody, we're just trying to play it because we love this instrument. When it's just really, like Lawrence was saying, we need to do it. It's a life-saving instrument in multiple ways. So thanks for joining us. Please subscribe. Remember, livingroomguitarist@gmail.com. Love to hear from you, and we will see you on the next episode. Thanks so much.